Well, hi there. Happy Tuesday. My name is Denise. I'm a stylist for Color Street. And I'm going to do makeup now, and I'm going to do nails in a minute after I finish makeup in another video. So today the makeup is going to feature, again, like last week, the Color Street Mascara because it's awesome. I have tried the eyeshadow. I bought the Purples palette, and after wearing it a few times, I'm kind of underwhelmed, and I didn't realize this when I bought it, but the brown shadow in that palette is a cream shadow, and I don't do cream shadows on my lids because my skin is oily and I can't work with it. The finish doesn't jive for me. I'm not a fan of cream shadows. I tried to work with it a few times and nope. I wish that there was a mention of it somewhere, or, you know, I knew ahead of time that it was a cream formula. I wouldn't have bought the palette at all. And the colors are pretty, but I have other purples that I like more and that are easier to work with. The pencil I'm using on my brows is Wet n Wild Micro pencil in Brunette, I think. Yeah, it's Brunette. And, you know, I am a drugstore girl at heart, so I'm not sure I'm going to be trying any of the other palettes. I haven't really read that much about them or seen very many reviews. Probably because I haven't really been looking for them either, but, you know, I'm picking my, what's the phrase? This isn't really a battle. I'm not picking a battle, but I'm just choosing what to spend my money on. And, you know, that's that. And, oh, I was going to talk about jewelry last time, I think, or a time or two ago. I used to work at university synagogue. I got hired for working at the synagogue as a temp, and then they hired me on permanently, and it was a great experience. My first boyfriend when I was in high school, who taught me how to play backgammon, he's Jewish, and I have to say, a lot of their rituals and observances and traditions kind of make sense to me. And so when I got offered the temp position, I'm like, yeah, for sure. I love Jewish people. I'll go work. And then they hired me on, and it was just really cool. Quick sidebar. As it happened, I was working down in the preschool, and I caught chicken pox at age 38, if you can believe that. I remember calling my mom and, you know, didn't I get chicken pox as a child? And she couldn't remember. I'm the youngest of four, and, you know, maybe my siblings had it before I came along. I don't know, but she didn't remember. And, you know, there I was, age 38, and it's like I get home from work one day, and it's hot, and I'm just burning up, and all of a sudden I got this bite, or I thought it was a bug bite, and my boyfriend at the time, David, he's like, girl, you got the pox. And I'm like, what? I do not. And, you know, that's what it ended up being. But, yeah, don't get it as an adult. I'm telling you, it was awful. I was down for a solid month because I had a couple of different blooms where, you know, the bumps come and then they go and then they come back, and it was a nightmare. It was bad. And towards the end, you know, I didn't know this at the time, but chickenpox is really a nervous system thing more than a dermatological thing. And so, you know, come to find out, I was miserable. It was just awful. And towards the end, I started to get really bad sensitivity to light. And I didn't know that what encephalitis was, but they were on the lookout for that with me, because if you get that, that's where your spinal fluid, it's not fun. It's definitely not fun. And you know, if your brain or your spinal column gets involved, it's bad. It's very dangerous. So fortunately, I didn't have to deal with that, but I did have major sensitivity to light. The area behind my eyes, like if I would blink, it would almost get tender on the inside of my eyes. And like to touch my eye, it was just, and yeah, no fun. So anyhow, synagogue. One day I'm at work in the office. Another quick sidebar. This is way too light. It's not doing the thing that I want it to do, the bronzer. I am a little scattered, I admit it. Another quick sidebar before I get into the jewelry. The eyeshadow palette I'm gonna wear today is called Dream Street. It's a collab with ColourPop and a makeup girl named Kathleen Lights. Look at these colors. This blue down here in the bottom corner, love. This one is really pretty. All of these are really pretty, and they do work together if you want them to. I'm gonna go on the more neutral side today, and I'm gonna start with this one up here in the corner called Twinkle. No, that can't be right. Well, it says it's called Twinkle, but it's not. It's not sparkly. It's just this little matte. Is it twinkly? No, not really. I just want to see if this one's a little darker than the bronzer. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I just want to put a little color up here. Anyhow, quickly about this palette. I'm a big fan of eyeshadows, as you know, and what I decided to start doing is every time I travel to a place I've never been to before, I find an Ulta and I go get a palette. And then every time I wear that palette from now on, it reminds me of the place I went to. Souvenirs are awesome. I love souvenirs, but a lot of times all you do is just sit and look at them. With these that I have now, I actually use them and then I remember them. And this one in particular, I got the first time that I went to go visit my boyfriend in Florida. So now every time I wear this palette, I think of my boyfriend. And it's been a little while since I've worn this one, so I'm busting it out today. All right, synagogue jewelry. I'm at work at the synagogue one day in the office, and in walks this very attractive woman. Probably, at the time, I was only 38. She was probably in her 50s. And very stylishly dressed. She had this beautiful hair that was just up, styled short. And she had like browns and golds and this really, really nice outfit on. And she was wearing this piece around her neck that took my breath away. It was amber and citrine and all these golds and just really beautiful chunky stones, and it had this big piece in the middle that looked very it looked expensive, to tell you the truth. It was just stunning. And I said, Marilyn, where did you get that? And she did the thing where you look over your glasses at someone and she says, honey, if I told you how much it cost me to make it, you wouldn't believe me. And I'm like, where, how, please, and within a day or two, I found myself at Marilyn's house with two other women from our office. And as it happened, Marilyn found herself ill, and she was in very bad shape, bedridden for a while, recovering from whatever ailment it was. And, one day she's just at her house, and she found herself looking for a jewelry item in her jewelry box. And she's like, oh, this is broken. Oh, this is broken. This is broken. Oh, this needs to be restrung. And she found herself with this pile of stuff in her house that, sorry, ghetto over here, getting my bra. I have sloping shoulders and my bra straps never stay up. So anyway, she found herself with this pile of stuff that hadn't been worn in ages. And she kept going through more stuff. And she's like, well, I think I can figure this out. So she started getting, pliers and cutters and different little tools. And she figured out how to fix stuff. And, she would show up at temple and at the sisterhood meetings and different places with, you know, friends that knew her, and they're like, Marilyn, that's a beautiful, where did you get that? Oh, you know, this was in my box and I fixed it. And everyone said, okay, well, help me fix this thing and that thing and the other thing. And over time, she ended up, you know, fixing things for all of her friends. And then, you know, she and her husband traveled extensively, and she would go different places and come back with all these different pieces. And, you know, as it happened, her son ended up moving out of the home and going to college. And so she took his room over and turned it into her jewelry supply emporium. And you know those like boxes, like toolboxes that mechanics have at the mechanic shops, the big tall Craftsman one that have all those skinny drawers? She got some of those and ended up, shoot, which one did I use? Is it this one? Yeah, I think that's, there's a couple of shades in here in the palette that look similar. And I couldn't remember which one I used. Is that right? Are those the same? I think they are. All right, so first I went in with the dark one down here, and then the one right next to it, which is called Mermaid Bay. And the other one is called Mooney, the brown one. Don't ask. I don't know. Anyhow, so here we were at Marilyn's house in what used to be her son's room, digging through all these drawers, and just everything was labeled with little labels in a Ziploc bag, and every item she had. There had to be over 1,000, I'm sure. Every color, every shape, every size, crystals, what they call AB, which is Aurora Borealis, where it's kind of like iridescent, like opalescent, everything of every color, it was actually a nut that she got in Vietnam, and it was like hard. I mean, you could bang it on the table and it sounded like a nut, or it sounded like you were knocking with your knuckle. And, you know, so there we were with all these things, and I decided that I wanted to work with amethyst because purple is the very best color ever. And I found myself seated at her table with a pile of amethysts, and one, you know, I was going to make a long pendant necklace, but I didn't want it just to be on one strand of anything. I wanted to make it a 3-strand braided thing, which is extremely ambitious for a first project. And nope, it was this one. Hang on. I'm trying to go with like copper and brown, and then the little light blue in the middle. That's too much of this one. Anyhow, so there I was at this table, and I started to work on my necklace. And, you know, it was a lot to take on for a first project, but I knew how to braid, and I had a vision, and I explained it to Marilyn and told her what I wanted to do. And she said, okay, I'll help you. Just you start, and if you get stuck, let me know, and I'll help you. And we'll fix it, you know, we'll finish it. And it's going to be really pretty, and I love your idea, and let's do it. So we started to work on it, and I started going, and similar to today, I had a vision, but it's not coming together. What is going on? Did I put too much this? It's in the wrong place. It's down too low. All right, let me get my wipey. This is why you have a makeup wipey, in case you blow it. So I was working on the piece, and it was coming together, and I'll show it to you because I have it right here. Well, what I did first was make some earrings. Let me take these out. I made these really neat little pretty earrings with amethyst. This one, the 2 purple stones are amethyst, and in the middle is a crystal. And what I did in between the crystals, I've got 2 little tiny seed beads. There's like amethyst bead, crystal bead, amethyst bead, because it separates it a little bit, and it gives it more visual interest as opposed to just stacking them one on top of the other. Where's my other one? I had it. There it is. So I made these first as inspiration, and then I started to get work on this. This piece of amethyst is the other inspiration. It's called Cape Amethyst. And you can see it's got striations. And the other side is a little bit deeper. And what I did was I found a person nearby who encased the amethyst chunk in the silver wire. And she made a loop so that I could hang it on something. So I'm going to take off the other one I have on too. Anyway, this is what I'm taking off both of them. And now I'm tied up, I'm tangled. So this is what I decided to make. As you can see, it's very long. It's like in between my chesticles right here. So I knew that I wanted it to look like this when it was done. And what you do as you're stringing things, you know, and you're doing, this is the finish of it. I got a lobster claw on here. This little thing right here, they call it a knot cover because you're going to be stringing everything along, and you start from the middle and you work out both, and you go down both sides. And then when you're done, I ended up with 6 strands that I had to knot and finish. As you can see, there's 1 strand of clear seed beads, and then there's a strand of purplish seed beads. You can, when they're in real light, you can see much better. But this is the one that took part of my soul, is this strand. This is all amethyst chips. Thousands and thousands of chips and seed beads. And it's very chunky. It's very like kind of organic because I didn't want to just do 1 strand, and I thought of just doing a twist, and then it's like, no, I'm braiding it. I'm making a braid. That's what it's going to be. And the original design came together actually pretty quickly. You know, the idea that I had in my mind that I wanted to do. So this is what it ended up being. And in order to attach the pendant, what I did was I just took some silver wire and I basically kind of like twisted the wire together, and then I wrapped it around 2 or 3 times. And because I had to attach this to the silver wire before wrapping it, I basically wrapped it around and then took the 2 wires and like twined them. Like it's difficult to explain, but you know what, I think you know what I'm getting at. I had to kind of like start, and then I would like wrap one around and then the other around, and then they would pass by each other in the middle, and I would like come down at the bottom, twist them around, and then come up again. And, you know, I tucked the ends underneath in here, so you can't really see where the ends are. And I had to like keep rubbing them with my pliers and smoothing them over with my pliers in order so that they wouldn't catch on my clothes. Because when you cut off the wire at the end, it's always very, it's not smooth. It's always like a little rough edge. And I don't have a small enough metal file to do that. So I ended up just having to, you know, keep burnishing it with the pliers in order to smooth it out. But what happened was, as I was finishing this, I had 6 strands because I have 3 strands here and 3 strands on this side. So there's a bead cover on this one over here, and then there's another one on this side over here. So there I was trying to finish this thing. And what you have to do, if you can imagine a clamshell upside down like this, you've got all of your little, I should have had an open one of these here so I could explain it to you better. But basically what I had to do was thread all 6 strands, because each one of these is threaded on 2 strands, basically. So there's 2 here, 2, 2, and 2. So there's 6 strands that I had to bring up through the bottom of this little thing. And then I had to knot it, make a knot, and then bring the knot all the way down to this little thing right here. And the knot, what I wanted to do with this little extra bead right here at the very end, there's a little bead right here. between where my nail is and where the bottom of that is. There's a seed bead. And what I wanted to do is bring everything up through that little seed bead and then into the cover. And what I had to keep doing was pulling it tight so that there was no thread. You don't want to see any thread between here at the end. You just want it to look finished and professional and perfect, basically. And I almost had it, but there was about 1/8 of an inch of thread showing it here. And I kept trying to pull the thing down close enough to where the bead was so that there was no thread showing, plus get the knot in here. And I was so close and I couldn't get it. And I tried, I was trying and trying and trying. And what you have to do, now that I'm explaining it to you, I probably should have. Anyway, you have to be exacting in getting your knot in here. And there are tweezers and there are implements that you use to hold it steady while you're pulling the thread and pushing on the tweezer and bringing it all closer and closer and closer. And I just couldn't quite get it. And I'm almost getting emotional telling you about this because I was getting emotional in that moment. And there were people around the table. There were like 5, usually 4 or 5 women that were, going to Marilyn's house for, she would call it jewelry class, where she would help all of us and we would all talk about stuff. And I called it bead therapy. That was the name of my original little tiny itty bitty jewelry thing that I was going to start doing. I called it bead therapy because that's what it was at Marilyn's house. We'd sit around the table and just talk about life and the universe and, whatever, and men and kids. And I don't have any kids, but it was just a really, really enriching thing. I really had a lot of really, really great times up at Marilyn's house. Anyhow, so I was there trying to finish this. And after many minutes of trying to do it, and Marilyn, I finally felt this very gentle hand on my shoulder. And I looked up at her and she said, "Dear, let me help you." And I'm like, "Thank you." So she got out the big guns. She had she had like 2 lamps on each side of a little thing. I need a Kleenex. Oh. There were 2 lamps, and in the middle of the lamps was a magnifier. So you had all of this intense light coming out. And she had her like super duper awesome tools that I wish I could have afforded at the time. And she sat there and had to undo, she had to undo this little thing. She took it off entirely. She had to unknot my 6 strands, by the way, which were about the size of a Q-tip end. Like, they all fit in here, tiny little. And just for her to undo the knot, I held my breath. And then she got another thing, threaded it through, and then she said, "Okay, now this is what you need to watch next time," because these were not all the same. They were different. I didn't have them the same length. And she did the thing and she showed me how to do it. And she said, "Okay, now I'm going to let you do the other side." Okay. And I'm like, "Thank you. I think I got it." And, it took me less time than the other side, but I finished it. But I swear my soul almost left my body watching her undo this and start to do it again. And so, yeah, that's my Marilyn. And this is the thing. And I'm kind of, I don't know if it's not really embarrassing that I don't wear it very much. I just don't want anything to happen to it, So I leave it for special occasions. And, oh, shoot, did I? I thought I had 2 earrings on. Oh, man. Is it in my bra? No. All right, I will find it later because you guys don't want to sit here. Oh, no, here it is. Found it. All right, so those are there where they belong. So that's my jewelry start. And then every other thing that I've ever made, like what I have on right now, these are turquoise. And this is turquoise with leather. And I found the... I found this silver bead in her drawers. And, you know, it just seemed to go. I didn't want to do anything too smooth because this is not a, you know, all one color. And it's not too terribly shiny like the other one I have. And I figured that this kind of a texture would work well. So that's what I did with this. And I knotted it and made that. So pretty much everything I wear most of the time is something that I made. So yeah, that's my jewelry story. And this is 25 minutes. Ah! I wanted to be gone much sooner than this. All right. Anyway, so, you know, I wanted more blue to show, but I don't want to do the dark. Well, let me just put this on a little bit here. I'm going in with the blue on the bottom corner, that one. Okay, that'll work, I think. And I did have an idea for doing my nails yesterday. Yesterday was Monday. And I was pressed into service, so I had to leave. And do it today instead. So that's what I got going on now. And for some reason, this is my vision. Here I go again, talking about my vision. It's not quite coming together. So what I'm gonna do is just pretend that all this is my base, and I'm just gonna go in with the copper and call it a day. And I was inspired by a photo that I saw on one of my Facebook groups. And I was going to do a thing with Bloody Gorgeous and a plaid and a glitter. Bloody Gorgeous is that amazing black and red gradient. And it's one of my favorites. And I would have sworn that I had more. But I opened up my last set of it earlier in the year or whenever it was. And I don't have it anymore. I ran out. I know I used it not that long ago, but this mani that I saw the other day, it's like, oh, I have to do that. It's fall. And so unfortunately, I'm not doing that. But I found another thing I can do instead. It's actually more of like a fall, like, as opposed to just red. Okay, I think that's good. Yep, it's gonna have to do. So that's my eyeshadow and my eyeshadow saga. Mascara. Okay, Color Street, Tri-Flex, still my tried and true. They do make a waterproof version that I am not trying yet because waterproof and I have never gotten along. And I'm just gonna chill with what I got. If at some point I'm inclined to try the waterproof, I'll let you know and I'll show you. But I'm just gonna chill with this one right now. How are you guys all doing? I'm on the hunt for better press-ons because I tried the ones that I've been using for a while again and took them off shortly afterwards because the glue tabs, I know I was a big proponent of the glue tabs, and I really am. I really do like the glue tabs. They're like little, you know, glue stickers that you put on. They're kind of like gel. They have a gel, you know, texture to them. And I really did like them for a long time. But the last couple times I put them on, my hair would get stuck underneath back here by my cuticle. I would like go to put my hands in my hair and it's like, ah, get out of there. And I don't know why all of a sudden it started happening, but I want to try, I saw Polished Dove. I saw Noelle wearing some clear ones and I want to try those. So once I figure out the brand name. And it's really more about the glue than about the actual nails, but I want to get both. I want to try the ones that she's wearing and see how they work. See if I like them. I think I'm going to keep the lashes less. No, who am I kidding? I want more. More volume, more length. I want it all. And I mean, I get it all because this mascara is so good. But I keep thinking, you know, sometimes it's like, can you have too much? I mean, I see some women with the falsies that are just, oh my God. It's like if they blink really fast, they're going to take off. And I don't want to ever look like that. I just want to look done. I want to look pretty, but I don't want to look overdone. Unless I'm like going on the red carpet for something. The nominees for Best Actress are Denise Bonfiglio and 4 others. That'll never happen. Well, I don't know. You never know. Hey, Morgan Freeman didn't do Driving Miss Daisy till he was in his 50s, I think. And I know those days are gone for me. I'm way past 50s, but hey, I don't know. Anything can happen. Jesse Eisenberg, hit me up because I think you're awesome. He's in a new movie called A Real Pain. He wrote and directed. He's the guy that was in The Social Network. Love that movie. Anyhow, so yeah. All right. Eyes are handled. Now what I'm going to do today is something different. I'm going to use concealer as my foundation. And this is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. And you just twist it up. And I'm just going to put some on my brush. You don't want too much, but you want enough so that you don't have to layer it up. Because with this formula is pretty thick and you don't want to build it. You want to just put it on once and be done. So here we go. I'm just going to dab everywhere first. And at this exact moment, it's like, oh my God, what did she do? But this is the trust the process moment where you just have to keep working it in. And every time I do this, I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. No, no, what are you thinking? Ah! But then after a couple of minutes, it's like, oh crap, she's right, it worked. It did work. And I'm trying to remember who I saw do this. I don't know if it was Nikki. It was probably not Nikki. It might have been, oh, sheesh. I don't remember. And it does look like it's too light, but that's why you have your blush and your bronzer. And I know I need a different bronzer, but I can still make that one work anyway. But see, it's just all blended in. It's all good. It's really just fine. And I have natural light coming in also. A little more on my nose. Ta-da! See? I knew it would work. And I am going to go in with that same bronzer that I thought was too light, but for right now, it's going to just warm everything up ever so slightly. And that weird thing with the brows is still happening. Better one or two. Am I the only one that sees that? I don't know. Okay, there's that. And then I've got my blush. I'm working with the same baked blush in Pretty Peach by Essence. I'm almost ready to hit the pan on this one. I don't know if you can see, but there's, yeah, you can see it right over here in this area. There's the little curve. That's the bottom of the pan. And I might have to go get a different brand, but I really love this formula and I love this color. And you'll notice that I always go with strokes going down. That's because that's the way that the little hairs on your face grow. And if you brush down, you don't disturb them and no one will notice that you have fuzz if you have fuzz. I know I don't because I, okay, I'm coming out with it. I shave my face, okay? I do. It's those hormones. You get to look forward to that, ladies. Menopause is awesome in some respects because you don't have the periods anymore. But then you have other things like hair where you don't want it, and then the hair where you do want it and changes too. Because my hair's been thinning a lot and I'm not sure I'm happy about that. Oh, speaking of hair, can't believe this is going to be such a long video. I didn't want it to be that long today, but I'm thinking of like changing my part. Not that I part my hair that much anyway, but I can never tell which is my best, like whether I should have my part on the left or on the right. So I'm gonna ask you for your opinion. So here's the left side. Back up a little. All right, left side. And right side. Your opinions, please. Which do you think? I don't know. I usually wear it in the middle anyway, just because it's how I've always had it. And I don't know. I don't know if middle is right either. I just know that it tends to work. Okay, lips, I didn't forget. This is my NYX Better Gloss in Sugar High. My perfect nude. It's like my lips, but better. All right, this is the makeup and the hair. Well, actually with the hair, I have a little tiny, I think I'm gonna just go like this with the middle. Just a little thing here. No part. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tell me the truth, because I don't know. Anyway, that's it for the, excuse me, for the makeup and jewelry today. I got my earrings back on. All right. Almost done with my my iced coffee. I will be back shortly with the nail portion of our show, and I hope you guys are all having an awesome day. See you in a bit.